A very good afternoon, everybody. Namaste and welcome to today's broadcast. My name is Nishit Kochak. I'm here with the team from HinduAcademy. Apologies, we've been having some technical trouble getting the live stream going on. Today, we are talking about Hanuman. So we are celebrating Hanuman Mahotsav. And I'm going to share a little video, and then we'll come back on this topic and have a little Q&A session. Trouble getting the live stream going on today. Is Hanuman considered a mythological being or a spiritual entity? And B, the question was, can Hanuman be considered a supreme god?
Okay, I'll try and address both the questions. You see, in fact, by tomorrow I'm invited by the Shakha in Hounslow to spend about 15 minutes talking about the importance of Ram and Diwali. So I'm going to do that. It's going to be recorded. Hopefully it'll go on WhatsApp and YouTube, etc. But let me address this issue. Look, when I was a youngster, Hanuman was my hero. You love people who break free, you can fly and all this, do this wonderful thing for the betterment of others. It's like Superman. Fly out and do good things for the rest of the world. What's wrong with that? The only difference I said once was Superman was gullible, was easily at the mercy of Lois Lane, his girlfriend. So when Lois Lane flutters her eyelids, Superman is gone. But with Hanuman, there's no chance. This is the difference between Superman and Hanuman. Hanuman is superior to Superman because he doesn't fall prey to the women fluttering their eyelids at him. So this is why he's superior. That's one thing. Now, I'll give you my personal opinion. I'm quite convinced that the story of Ramayana has got historic foundation. It is not just made-up storytelling. We love the storytelling, we love all these Purans, but story of Ramayana, I am suggesting, because of thinking very carefully, clearly, this impact it has made on not only India, throughout the Southeast Asia, cannot have happened without a historic foundation to it. It cannot just be made-up storytelling, it has become so powerful. So I'm quite convinced. Look, I'm very guarded in my language. I don't say yes, 100% sure. I'm quite convinced that the story of Ramayana has got historic foundation. Now, if the story of Ramayana is historic foundation, then the idea of Ram, Sita, Lakshman and Hanuman, they must be genuine personalities. They can't just manufacture Hanuman and plug it into the storytelling. So I think Hanuman was a great hero, a great warrior, a great fighter, very upright person. This thing about him that I like is Brahmacharya. I like this idea of Brahmacharya. You see, you are your master. You're at the mercy of some woman kind of fluttering the eyelids. Oh, you fool, I must chase after you. You're not bothered. So this is why I like Hanuman more than other heroes. That is my reason for liking Hanuman more than Superman. But other issues you raise. Can you call him the supreme god? Yes, my friend. Our tradition says, if you focus on any personality that makes you focus, one-pointed and devoted to the idea of spirituality, you're on the right track. You can say Mother Goddess, you can say Saraswati, you can say Lakshmi, you can say Parvati, you can say Hanuman, you can say Ganesh, you can say Ram, Krishna, Vishnu, Shiva. You can choose any. This is our speciality. We like variety. Like colorful food we have. We like variety of different ways of relating to spirituality, focusing on different personalities. I can imagine the youngster who prefer Hanuman over Ram. I'll just give you a funny story, just to lighten up. Now, my mentor Vivekananda, when he was a youngster, he studied the Ramayana. His mother used to tell him the Ramayana. He loved, of course, most important person he loved in the story of Ramayana was Hanuman. See, a young boy, of course, like Hanuman. And he was very happy. Now, they had a coachman, the person who drives horse and carriage. And the coachman used to have a fight with his wife on a regular basis. So one day he told this little Vivekananda called Narendra, women are a nuisance. Getting married is hell. He kept telling him this to this poor little Narendra boy, marriage is horrible, it's terrible. And little Narendra was listening, because he believes anything he hears. And then in that period, Vivekananda used to worship the image of Ram and Sita. And he kept hearing that marriage is horrible, marriage is horrible. And they said, Ram has got married to Sita. He said, this is horrible. Ram is no good. This is true story. He picked up that image of Ram and Sita and threw it out. It had to be rescued. So you see, this is how the little guileless boy was saying, Hanuman is better than Ram because Hanuman did not get married. Poor Ram got married, finished, he's gone. But this is the great idea of Hanuman, a brahmachari, not interested in women. He's kind of not kind of a slave of this idea of gender attraction. That is why he's a great hero, great personality. So if you think ultimate reality is Hanuman, I say go for it, my friend. You are on the right track. At some stage, you might decide that it's okay. Hanuman is the image of Shiva, and you might move on to Shiva, but that's your choice.
So welcome back, everybody, and we are on this special edition of celebrating Hanuman Janmotsav, the auspicious day celebrating the birth of Lord Hanuman, one of the most revered and beloved figures in Hinduism. So throughout today's session, we will be exploring his life teachings and the incredible feats that Lord Hanuman has performed, delving into the profound lessons that we can learn from his unwavering devotion to Lord Ram and his extraordinary abilities. So we have our panel here. We've got Vijay Bhai, Sita Ben, Manish Bhai. Welcome to today's call. Manish Bhai, over to you to get started with today's call.
Thank you, Nishit Bhai. Sorry, viewers, for that trouble in technical troubles today. Right. Take the first questions. Hanuman is considered avatar of Shiva, Vijay Bhai. So what's your take?
No, absolutely. I think we can actually, it's quite not unusual to do that. We have a lot of deities who are considered as avatars or other deities, even now in modern times as well. There are many situations of modern personalities also are, avatars of deities. And that's okay. I think basically associating deities, qualities of Shiva into Hanuman. Also, so there's nothing wrong in that idea. So I think many people believe that, and that's fine. So I'm quite comfortable with that. Also, if you look at the also Ram, Ram was also devotee of Shiva. Don't forget. Also, you see in the Tulsi Ramayana, there's so many verses which praise Shambhu, and Parvati. So in a way, they're all interlinked, and that's absolutely fine. I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, Sita.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's a beautiful relationship between Hanuman and Ram, and it's a real sort of way that we can sort of, if we are emotive by nature, and we also want to develop that sort of, reach the conclusion of bhakti, we can look to Hanuman as an example of that. Because to the point where, he loves Ram so much that eventually he is no longer able to tell himself apart from Ram, and that's why there's that beautiful image of Hanuman opening up his chest and there is Ram inside. So I think it's a beautiful conclusion to bhakti, is that you can't see yourself as being separate from the object of your love.
A wonderful way to put it, Sita Ben. So viewers, there was a Hanuman Janmotsav Jayanti, some people call it, on Thursday or Friday, I think, and wonderful way to remember Hanuman. And Hanuman Chalisa is very popular these days. What's your take on it, Sita Ben?
Yes, I actually took my daughter to the mandir today, this morning. It's beautiful because everyone is dressed up nicely, and what they were doing at this mandir, as so many mandirs across the world, is they would repeat the Hanuman Chalisa, which sort of sings the praises of Hanuman. And as a way of showing devotion and discipline, they repeat that over a long period of time. It might be 100 times or however many times, and it's to show that that love and devotion, sort of this determination that we also want to, show our love for this idea of God. So I think it's beautiful. You're kind of showing discipline, you're showing love and devotion, and by this constant repetition, we are able to remind ourselves of God in our everyday lives. Otherwise, we just get caught up in this rush of everyday life, and it's so easy to forget this idea of God and spirit and showing love to God and to our fellow human beings. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity to have festivals like this, where we all come together and we sort of enjoy this spirit of love. Vijay Bhai?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely agree. I think Manish, by the Hanuman Chalisa is so beautiful. I mean, I think when you actually listen to it very carefully, the idea of strength, buddhi, knowledge, gnan, everything into Hanuman, you can see why Hanuman is so endearing. And I think also the Hanuman Chalisa, if you read it with some deep understanding, not just mechanically, if you actually try and see the meaning behind it, two things come out for me. One is that there's so many qualities in Hanuman, imbibed in Hanuman, which we aspire to be, or at least imbibe in our lives. And that's very special. And the other thing also is, in a way, we're very lucky that Tulsidas actually was there to give us such beautiful, I would say, poetry about Hanuman. So it's very endearing. If you look at the Hanuman side, Vidya Vana Guniyati Cha, Vidya, I mean knowledge. So it's all knowing, good listener, strength, well, everything that humans aspire is in this one beautiful, deity, which is Hanuman. And that is what is really, really, endearing for us. And I think more than just listening is the imbibe this qualities now. That's what the kind of challenge is.
So that's wonderful way to put it, Vijay. So Kunal is said generally that Lord Hanuman is still alive. How true is it according to you? So, Hanuman is considered Chiranjeevi, forever living and ready to do the works of Ram, even in the age of this age. So what is your take on it, Vijay?
I know. I've heard that as well, because I've been told from very young age, Hanuman, I think the Ashwatthama is about 5 or 6 major, personalities in Hinduism who are considered kind of Chiranjeevi. Look, I'll tell you what, whether he's Chiranjeevi or not, if he's really go out in the caves, look for him, he's already alive in yourself. Think of it that he's already alive within us, all of us, because we aspire so many amazing work that he has. So in a way, Hanuman, he doesn't have to be a person alive. He's already alive in us. Quite often, if you notice one thing, that it's not how long you live, as people say, it's what you leave behind and what people remember. So in a way, it's Chiranjeevi to me, because he's living through us, and his qualities is beautiful, devotion to God. That is all we aspire to be. So in that sense, I would say is true. Regarding literally as physical body, I'm not sure. I have not looked for him. I haven't go to the caves and remote Himalayas to find him. But you know what? It doesn't matter that much to me. He's still alive. In my eyes, he's alive, because the qualities and vibes are what makes us truly alive and aspiring. Sita?
Yeah, I completely agree. And the thing is with Hindu philosophy as well, like the body is just, it's always going to be temporary. It's always subject to change, but your spirit always lives on forever. And this is essentially not just Hanuman, but all of these wonderful deities and saints and prophets, and even us, normal human beings. We are all Chiranjeevi in the sense that we are all eternal. We are all that same spirit. And what happens is, you're kind of operating on a different vibration, you're on the physical plane, but then when your body is no longer there, that doesn't mean that you've disappeared. You're just operating at a different, higher level, a more spiritual level. So in that sense, the body is not the be all and end all. It is pure, it is pristine, it is eternal, and so are all of us. So I think it's a really wonderful way of looking at it, is that we can carry forward what we have learned from him in our lives here, and hopefully that will help us on our spiritual progress.
It's a wonderful way to put it. We take a next question. So Hanuman represents the strength and such a powerful personality. There is no weakness in Hanuman. He is full of strength. And how can Hanuman help in today's age? Sitavin?
Yeah, I think it's incredibly important to have strength of character. And that's what all of our everyday activities, all of our disciplined endeavors that we try and do are all trying to achieve, is this strength of character. Because, we try and sort of have, equilibrium in our lives. We try and be happy and content, but then the universe keeps knocking us off kilter, and, all sorts of challenges keep coming in our face when we don't expect it. and we keep feeling buffeted by everything in the universe. So having that strength and having that steadiness within us is the thing which will keep us calm and steady in the sort of choppy waters of life in a way. So I think it's incredibly important to have that strength of character and know essentially that we're not just material beings, because if you just think of yourself as a material being, you're just one lump of matter interacting with another lump of matter. What's the point of anything? But when you recognize and realize that there is so much more to you, you are the spirit. That is the thing that will keep you steady in the storms of life. So I think it's incredibly important to have that strength within you, that steadiness within you. And there are so many new challenges that the world has faced. In the olden days, we had different kinds of challenges. We had more physical problems and ailments and this and that. And now, the world has moved on and we're able to cure and resolve a lot of the sort of physical ailments of people. But now more challenges are coming in the realm of the mentally, because people are undergoing so much stress, so much anxiety, and mental health is a massive problem today. But if we are able to somehow instill strength in people, that have confidence in yourself, have strength in yourself, that can hopefully be a way that we can transform lives for the better. So having physical strength is important, but mentally, especially these days, is even more important, I think. Vijay?
Yeah, I think there's so many amazing qualities, Manisha, of Hanuman. I mean, his strength is one of them. But I think Sita's got pretty much most of it. But I remember one story, if you remember the story of Bhim and, Hanuman. And there was so much ego in kind of Bhim. And then the story about the tail across his path. And Bhim goes, I am strength. So a lot of ego. And he's trying to lift the tail. He couldn't lift the tail at all. And eventually he gave up and he couldn't believe that person has got the strength of 100 elephants, couldn't lift a little tail of a monkey. If you know, it's a very famous story. And he actually shows Hanuman, despite all his strength, had no ego in him. Everything that he had, all the qualities, he kind of offered them to God. So in effect, he actually said that anything I have, any amazing strength I have, it's not really mine. It's actually God's. So even the idea of ego is something that you learn from Hanuman. He didn't even have any ego despite all his amazing strength. So all in all, it's very amazing, very endearing and very amazing character, Hanuman. Love him. No doubt about that, yeah.
So true, Vijay Sitaben. So Hanuman represents celibacy. He is the symbol of celibacy. And then Prusarbhai Patel is saying Hanuman is believed to have a wife too. Please, may you shine some light. So I think there is some YouTube videos, so there may be a story or two which talks about Hanuman and his wife. What's your take on it, Vijay?
Okay, I've heard that story. I mean, it's not in a lot of the mainstream book, but it is a story about there was a temporary marriage he had to do to gain some knowledge. But if you look at the story very carefully, even immediately after marriage, I think it's, I forgot them, Suachala or something, I can't remember the name now. She actually immediately left and she did penance and he went to his way. It was just some sort of convenience thing. But one thing to keep in mind, people think that if you can't be brahmachari if you're married. That, by the way, is not true. There are very many examples in this world where people are living as a brahmachari, they support each other spiritually, and they're brahmachari, you'd be surprised, yeah? Like, Jalaram Baba Veerbai, there's so many modern examples. But in this case, there's a story like that. I mean, I don't know much about story, but it does mention in the story as well that he did fulfill both these, conditions. To marry there, to fulfill, I think, Surya there, to make him happy, I think, and to get knowledge. At the same time, he also kept his brahmacharya vows both together. So kind of both are actually took place and both are okay in that sense. So yeah, so in that case, it doesn't make any light on his brahmacharya idea. Yeah, Sita.
I completely agree. I mean, to be honest, I don't know if Hanuman had a wife or not, but as Vijay said, with these spiritual individuals, things are very different for them. It's not a normal marriage in everyday sense. It's a much more elevated, relationship. And it's a purely spiritual relationship. And we have an example as well. We've got Jalaram Baba, but we've also got, of course, Sri Ramakrishna and Sharda Devi, who are living in complete celibacy, but they were married. And then it makes you think, well, what is the point in them being married then if they're just celibate anyway? And I think really what it is showing is it's showing an example to humanity, to all of us, because all of us somehow, not all of us, but a lot of us feel the need to get married. But what it is showing is that maybe, after a certain amount of time, try and elevate your relationship as well to being a spiritual relationship where you sort of live in harmony with each other and that you support each other's spiritual journey. So it's really, as I guess, is a role model for us to say, let us also try and elevate our own marriages to become divine and special in this way.
That's very well put, Sitaben. We take a next question. And we're getting some really interesting question from the viewers. So the question is, in what ways Hanuman's unwavering focus on spiritual purpose inspire individuals to maintain focus and determination in their own pursuits? Sitaben?
Yes, I mean, he's a wonderful example of showing that steadiness and that strength of character. The challenges that he faced in the story of the Ramayana are obviously very different to the challenges that we face, but that doesn't mean that we can't take on his message and learn from him in dealing with adversity and challenges. Because obviously he was physically very strong, but also mentally very strong as well. And that unwavering faith and love that he had in the personality of Ram is something that we can also take on board and learn from. So, just loving, you may not love the idea of God with form, and that's totally okay. You just want to show love for humanity. You want to show love for, your neighbors and your community. Perhaps that's where you draw your strength from. So really you draw your strength from showing that love and having that love and support around you. That is what's going to keep you steady in the sort of, the choppy waters of life. And Dad has mentioned it before, and I love it. There's this wonderful Harvard study which looked at happiness and what is the thing which gives us the most happiness in human life? And that is the relationships we form, the love that we have for the people around us. And that keeps us steady and strong. And if you think about it, when somebody is going through a challenging time or a difficult time, sometimes all that person needs is a listening ear. They need somebody to be with them, to show them that love and that compassion. And that can give them the strength to get through adversities and challenges. Vijay?
No, I think there's so much you can learn from his dedication and focus. And quite often, even as Sita mentioned, Sita answered the question quite comprehensively. If you have focus and strength, as you can see in Hanuman, the things you can achieve are immense. And you can see for Hanuman's life, achievements. And quite often, we try to do something in our life, try and achieve a goal. Because we lack the focus and discipline, we quite often don't achieve that. Hanuman is a very good example, so that focus, and focus is not just any focus of material gain, it's also partly spiritual focus. If you have spiritual focus and dedication with a kind of a goal which is actually beneficial to you or humankind, in that sense, then you can achieve something if you learn those qualities from Hanuman of focus and determination in a kind of a spiritual angle.
Okay, we take a new question from Sharma. He's saying, does Lord Hanuman is Lord Hanuman here today in today's world? So I'll change it a bit, the question. Let's say, Hanuman Chalisa is very popular, YouTube, there are millions of views there. If someone focuses and really, wholeheartedly get into worship of Hanuman, would Hanuman appear to him and would they have spiritual experience using the Hanuman as their deity? Vijay?
Absolutely. Yes, they can. Yes. The thing is that, look, if you're dedicated and focused and you see the message and you imbibe Hanuman in you, then yes, you will have vision of Hanuman, or actually any deity, not only Hanuman, any deity, and they will come and guide you. In a way, the spirit appears in the form that you want it to appear in front of you and give a message. So you can have any kind of deity you believe in. If you believe in focus and you dedicate so much love for that deity, because that's a deity you understand, contact with, you kind of understand your relationship with. So Supreme Brahman can actually become, finite for you in the form that you choose, and the form that which pleases you, or the form that you're kind of used to, the form that you want to see. Then yes, absolutely, Hanuman will come to you and give you even more strength in your belief, and give you kind of buttress your beliefs of determination, strength, and your love for Hanuman. Sita?
Yeah, I completely agree. It reminds me of the beautiful example that Sri Ramakrishna gave about ice and water. Whichever form of God you love, that spirit will freeze itself into the form of your desire and come before you. So yes, I totally agree that Hanuman, if you love Hanuman so intensely and so much, he will come before you for sure.
Thank you, Sita Ben Vijay. Wonderful answer. We take the next question. Okay, considering Lord Hanuman's immense physical strength, how can we balance power with humility in our daily lives, Sita Ben?
That's a very good question. But actually, I think real power or real strength is humility as well. Because if you are really genuinely strong, you don't need to go out there and, display it to the world and show off about it. If you are strong within yourself, you don't need anyone's external approval. So if you are strong, you will, I think, be humble about it as well. If you are genuinely strong and it comes from a place of strength within you, then there is no need to sort of show it off to the world. Because if it was like, a fake sort of showing off, then, you kind of need that external approval to say, look at me. And then everyone has to applaud and cheer. But if you are strong within yourself, you don't need any external verification. And that humility will come automatically. And that's the beautiful thing about Hanuman. Even if you just, for example, look at the image of Ram, Lakshman and Sita standing, and Hanuman is kneeling next to them on the floor. That clearly shows that, look, he is the personification of strength, yet he is kneeling down on the floor next to them. What does that show? That shows humility. He's not standing in front of them saying, look at me, I am so strong. He's kneeling next to them to show humility and love as well. Vijay Bhai?
Sita, I think it got really beautifully. Not much to add. I think strength goes with humility. That is really true strength.
It's wonderful to hear. Kamakshi Cole has asked the question, but I'm not sure if that instance is correct. So I think what she's referring to is the instance where Lava and Kush is fighting Ram. And when Hanuman is sent to fight Lava and Kush, basically, instead of fighting, he starts chanting Ram and gets, captured by them. I think that is the story she's referring to. So that again shows his humility, that he does not attack those, and does not disrespect the order is given as well. We take next question. Kunal has said, that Dr. S. Jaishankar said the world's biggest diplomats were Lord Hanuman and Lord Sri Krishna. What's your take on that, Vijay Bhai?
I think I've seen something like that video, yes. Look, I think Lord Hanuman, I tell you example that 2 or 3 examples of diplomacy. If you look at the Kiskindha Khand, when very first time when Ram went to Hanuman and met him, he went in the disguise of a Brahmin, if you remember historically, because he wasn't sure how they react to seeing him as in his original form. Because Brahmin form is, much more calming and, people respect you. And eventually the dynamics you see between Ram and Hanuman, and the way Hanuman got Ram to meet Sugriva and build their friendship, it's so emotional. If you read the Kiskindha Khand, if you just listen to it on, YouTube, it's so emotional. And the way Ram tackles the idea, and eventually even Ram also says to Hanuman that, I love you twice as much as my own brother Lakshman, in that particular scene you see in the Kiskindha Khand. So if you can see that kind of diplomacy, even in Lanka, if you notice the Lanka story when they burned his tail, he didn't ask for it to be burned. It's very clever diplomacy there. He goes, look, I'm asking, and they were kind of being very rude to him. But he didn't say it. He was behaving very nicely. He goes, we won't tell, okay, you can burn my tail, So in a way, it shows he was very diplomacy. But I think generally, the key thing is humility and strength, how they go together. And that's something that anybody who is powerful should learn. And same with Lord Krishna as well. Sita, that's all I can add on that question.
Yeah, I think what's really special about both of these personalities is the fact that, we always think of politics as being quite a sort of a worldly sort of pursuit. But with these two personalities who are highly spiritual, they are able to execute their duties as politicians or as diplomats in the best possible way. So I think, a lot of people think, oh, politics and spirituality, how can they come together? But I think they can, in this sense that it gives us that depth of understanding, it gives us that perspective in order to be able to make the right decisions and say the right things and do the right things in those particular circumstances. So yeah, often people think, religion and politics, how can you put them together? But perhaps in this case, it's wonderful that actually they can complement each other and support each other in this way.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. We've got a question from Almar Taleksh. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He's saying, I've seen someone compare Hanuman to Hercules of Greek mythology. What's your take on it? And also, Jai Bhai used to compare Hanuman and Superman. What's your take on this, Sita?
Yes, I mean, I love Greek mythology as well. So Hercules is a very sort of a wonderful character within Greek mythology. And they both, obviously, they represent strength. They are both incredibly strong individuals. And they have this sort of divine element to them. Hercules is meant to be born of the gods, essentially. And so is Hanuman. He is divine by nature. So I think what it's perhaps showing, is my understanding of it anyway, is that real strength, we think of strength as just being physical strength, but actually having that sort of spiritual underpinning can actually give you the real strength, the inner strength from within, which allows you to sort of overcome any challenges, any obstacles. So it's not just a physical strength, but that inner strength, which comes from that spiritual depth. So perhaps they're not the same personality, but I think it's wonderful that we can see two different civilizations having, a similar concept of an individual who shows tremendous strength of character. I love seeing these similarities across civilizations because it shows the commonality of human thinking, because we all like to aspire towards these strong personalities. And as Dad obviously said, Superman, Dad often compared Hanuman to Superman. They're both superheroes. They both fly around and save the world, which is wonderful because it's showing our human aspiration for strength, for breaking free from limitations, and not being bound down to the sort of bondages of the world in a way. Vijay?
I think, Sita, you've got it quite nicely. All I can add is that in both these cases of Hercules and Hanuman, what you do see that they use their strength to help the less able, less weaker people to achieve their goals. So never they use strength for goodness, not to kind of, overpower or bully or dominate, more like help, people who are struggling to kind of succeed. And that's a beautiful message. So we should use whatever strength we have, we should use it wisely for the benefit of humanity, not the other way around, not to kind of suppress. Yeah.
Wonderful, very well answered, Sita. Wonderful answer there. We take next question from Almar Taleksh again. He's asking, are there any English translation of the Vedas and specifically Ramayana story, so that I can look into what you are talking about? So how can we learn more about Hanuman, Vijay Bhai?
So I think if you look at there's a translation of Ramayana, you can Google and you go online English translation. We teach it as well as part of GCSE, the Kiskindakhan, which is the 4th chapter. Yeah, so you have the Balkhan, Ayodhya-khan, then we got the Aranyakhan, and then we have the Kiskindakhan. So in the Kiskindakhan, you learn the beautiful stories of how Ram went from the Aranyakhan after meeting Shabri, he went to the Rasamukha mountains, and then in Kiskinda, and for the first time he meets up with Hanuman, and the dynamics. It's really beautiful, the story, the love, the compassion, the emotion, the spiritual bonds that develop, among. And then of course after that they march to Lanka on the Sundarkand. And Sundarkand is the most beautiful because when you go on long journeys, that's where you really build bonds and friendship, the happinesses, challenges, the struggles. So it's a very beautiful story, but you can get quite a few English translation. I would say that there's two, of course, main one, Valmiki and Tulsi. But I think Tulsi is easier to understand for the English one. And also the Vedic literature, there's a lot of English translation, but of course they are much more cryptic and much more difficult to understand. But Ramayana story is very beautiful. So just Google one story and you'll love it. Yeah. Chita.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, there are so many, even for children, there are so many versions of the Ramayana that you can look at. And to be honest, I think they're all beautiful. They all have the same sort of basic storyline. And I think the important thing to remember with the Ramayana is that, we do, as Hindus, we believe that Ram was a historical personality, but we have to remember that there is a lot of mythology interwoven into the story. So make sure that we don't see everything as being literally true. For example, Ravan having 10 heads and Hanuman flying, we have to be, keep our heads screwed to our heads. So we have to make sure we think of everything properly, logically. But what we can do is take on board the messages of these very inspiring people who continue to inspire people for thousands of years.
Okay, we are coming close to the hour. We'll take one or two more questions. So Trusar Patel is saying, was Hanuman as famous and revered and worshipped in Bharatvarsh prior to Goswami to Tulsidas ji, or was it Tulsidas ji's and his Ramayana and his Hanuman Chalisa popular? Sitaben?
To be honest, I have to say I'm not sure. Possibly, I'm sure that it had an impact on it for sure, because sometimes, a lot of individuals in that particular moment of history, they are not really recognized, or, they are underestimated when it comes to, the whole story happening and unfolding. And it's only after the fact that actually they are recognized and appreciated. And it takes a long time for the human mind to sometimes understand the depth of these personalities, the strength of their characters. So I think it's wonderful that we have individuals like Tulsidas who are able to sort of highlight and spotlight the wonderful strength of these individuals who, they may have just disappeared into history if we hadn't been shown or spotlighted onto these personalities. So I think we're very lucky to have individuals like that who could do it. Vijay?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I mean, we can't be sure, but I think we do know that as of now, the Hanuman Chalisa is very popular all over North India. And also, it's quite a few parts of South India as well. So it's quite likely that Tulsidas made a major impact on making Hanuman popular. I mean, there are some old temples, but I think quite a few are fairly new temples. So in that sense, I guess Tulsidas most likely played a major role. But we can't say for sure before Goswami Tulsidas what the situation was, because we do know that even in the times of Ramanuja or early kind of spiritual leaders, they did revere Hanuman. Hanuman was always kind of put in the temple before the main deity. That's been a tradition for many, many years. So likely, but we can't say for sure. Yeah.
Okay. We take a last question for the day in today's shortened version. Almar Talex is asking if there is still, what are Hindu practices in the religion, whether it's prayer, meditation, etc.? Vijay?
Oh, no, I mean, Hinduism, I think we have lots of different practices. There's so many ways to progress spiritually. So prayer and meditation are but one of them, but service to humanity, seeing divinity in man. So there are many, many ways to see the spirit and kind of serve the spirit. And at the same time, enriching your own spiritual experience. I mean, I've started reading, Vivekananda's biography again, and it brings tears to your eyes when he traveled all over India and saw so much poverty and so much struggle. And the amount of tremendous pain they went through, that how come my living God is struggling? So he worshipped God by serving humanity. So there are many, many ways to worship, to spirituality. Whatever suits you best. There's no one particular way. That's what I can add to that, Sita.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, we've got this, the yogas, the 4 yogas of Hinduism, which talk about different pathways of making spiritual progress. So there's the path of meditation, there's the path of introspection, there's the path of love and devotion, which we've been talking about today, and obviously the path of selfless action. So Hinduism offers these pathways, and you can pick and choose which one suits you the most, or you can pick and choose and mix and match them together based on your temperament and your preference.
It's wonderful to hear. So we are at liberty to select our own path and what is our particular take on it. Wonderful. But more question as requested by.
Yes, Manish bhai, please carry on.
He's asked, and Andrew Roth has asked, in the spirit of Jay Lakhani stepping away from the superficial narratives, how can we best embody Hanuman as a principle in our daily lives? Sitaben.
So I think, as Dad has said many times in his videos, Hanuman, really the three qualities of Hanuman which stand out and is something that can be really useful in all of our lives is Bal, Buddhi and Brahmacharya. So Bal is obviously strength, which we've been talking about today. The second one is Buddhi, use our rational faculties. Don't just, take in anything and everything that you hear. Think about it and only take it in if it makes sense to you. And the third one is Brahmacharya, celibacy. The only way that we can really make spiritual progress is by being celibate and reminding ourselves that we are spirit and not bodies. Vijay bhai?
Not much. All I can say that Hanuman has got, apart from the three main qualities Sita mentioned, there are so many qualities of Hanuman. I think pretty much everything that Hanuman stands for, if you can imbibe in our lives, I have no doubt that we can enrich our lives far more than we are. Yeah.
Fabulous. So folks, that is it. We are at the end of today's live stream. Thank you so much for bearing with us as we had some tech troubles at the start. And as we conclude today's live stream, which was in honor of Lord Hanumanji and celebrating his birth, we'd like to express our gratitude to everybody who joined in. I certainly discovered a few new things that I didn't know before on this very interesting topic. I hope you all have too as well. So we delved deeper into Hanumanji's unwavering devotion to Lord Ram. We looked at his incredible feats of strength, and we looked at the countless ways in which he serves as an inspiring example of spiritual growth, selflessness, and dedication. So as we go along for next week's session, I'd like to encourage you all to come back at 2 o'clock on Saturday next week. And for the new viewers who've just tuned in today, welcome once again. Please do tune in next week as well. And we will have another interesting topic for you for next week as well. We will announce the topics on YouTube before, on Saturday before the event itself. So this is it from us. We'd like to wish you a great week ahead. And from the team here at Hindu Academy, we'd like to say bye-bye and have a great week ahead.